see.
Caller, what year were the soldiers allegedly killed?
1943.
All right, let me say something, though, to this. Let me speak to this for a minute. I'll get a look at the book, and I'm sure what you're telling me is an atrocity and should never happen. There is no question that African Americans have been treated badly in this country, okay? No question about it. But it does no good today in your life for you to dwell on that or make it a part of your thinking in the sense that it shapes your opinions. Your responsibility is to yourself and your family to have the best life you can have. You're 13% of the American population. The power is held by white men in this country. If you go against that power, you can get some satisfaction emotionally. But chances are you're going to make your life more difficult. So I say this: acknowledge the past, be angry about the past, do not accept the past. But do not let it influence how you look at the world. Be honest, be a good American. If you don't like America, then move to another country and work hard for yourself and your family. Throw off the baggage of the past because it only drags you down.
Reno, Nevada, Republican line, you're on.
Okay, Bill, go man. I watch you every day of the week. It's almost like, it's like my high. I not only bought one book, I bought two of your books.
No, thank you, madam. I appreciate that very much.
And I gave one as a gift, and I give it out to as a loaner. They can't keep it, they can borrow.
You ought to charge them rent, though, for that.
That's right. I feel like it. But I want you to know that the one thing that I really love about your program is that it makes people in America use critical thinking instead of emotion. And if more people did that, they would not find you so horrible as the previous caller did.
Well, I think that's an astute observation. I mean, I'm trying to get the emotion out of the decision-making process. And, you know, people naturally, react emotionally to what's said, especially if they disagree with it. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me on anything. I'm not on some jihad to convert you to be a thinker like I am. I'm an independent thinker. But I don't want you to be that. What I want you to do is to listen to what I have to say, consider the evidence that I present to back it up, and make your own decision. If the lady in Bridgeport, Connecticut, or wherever she was, who doesn't like me, who doesn't want to like, that's fine. I respect her opinion. But what I'm saying is that there are wrongs in this society on every spectrum. And as a journalist, my responsibility is to point them out.
How has the media, and that's a big word, but how has the media treated you about this book?
In the beginning, abysmally. We couldn't get, the major news programs in the morning and the papers to take a look at it. This is snobby elitism, and they don't like me anyway because I hold the media accountable as well as the politician. So if the New York Times is something dopey, I'm right on them. They don't like that. But as the book became more successful, Mr. Lamb, the media is a pack animal. So now I'm getting on all the programs and getting on all the magazines, and I'll be on the cover of Parade magazine next Sunday, which I work for, so they've always been great for me. But I was in New York magazine, and they actually said nice things about me. I was stunned. So now, we've broken through, and that's because of the folks. We didn't get any media help. The folks did it. And now we're getting, fair treatment.
How many editions have been printed, and how many copies are out in the marketplace?
1 million copies. I don't know how many editions, but there are more than 1 million copies, and it has a chance to be the highest-selling nonfiction book of the year, even though it's only been out of the year 2000, even though it only came out in September.
Wilkesboro, North Carolina, on the independent line for Bill O'Reilly.
Good morning. I'd like to say this is a great day for me because I get a chance to say thank you, C-SPAN, and thank you, Bill O'Reilly, at the same time.
Well, let me stop you there. I started my career at Channel 16 in Avoca, Pennsylvania, and I lived in Wilkes-Barre. How about that? So I got to thank you guys for launching my career.
This is Wilkesboro in North Carolina, but...
Oh, I thought it was Pennsylvania.
It's a wonderful place that lives in the 60s.
I got you.
We have a small town with a great deal of volunteerism, And the only three things that I truly enjoy on TV is C-SPAN, Bill O'Reilly, and the Weather Channel, because they all tell me what I want to hear.
There you go.
And I thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Lancaster, California, on the Democratic line. You're on.
All righty.
Go right ahead, please. Turn your television set down and keep talking. Please turn it. Let's go to Los Angeles next. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good morning. How you doing?
Fine.
I got a question for you, Bill.
Okay.
And the thing I was going to say was this. I really enjoy your program. And it took Fox to bring somebody like you to be able to show people the hypocrisy of our government and things of that nature. One thing I was wondering you might be able to look at, because we're here in California, is this power problem that we have out here.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I've been looking at it. It's terrible.
Yeah, the thing of it is, the politicians put this deregulation in, yet you need to find out who are the parent companies that are charging this outrageous amount of money, and let the people know who's making this money. Where's it going?
Absolutely. You know, this parallels the airline situation. It's very similar, where the deregulation of the airlines has led to a dangerous and chaotic situation for all Americans, and we don't have a choice. I mean, some of us have to fly for family reasons, for business reasons, and we're thrown in to this horrible mess where there's no regulation. Now, I'm sorry, I'm a capitalist and I believe in a free market system, but some industries have to be regulated by the government to protect public safety. Utilities is one of them. Airlines is another. And I'm with you out there. You guys are paying far too much money. This is an out-of-control situation. There's no accountability. The folks don't know where the money's going. They're getting higher bills, and all we're hearing is we're bankrupt, we're bankrupt, we're bankrupt. The state of California has a responsibility to lay out what's going on there to all you people. You've got to get to Gray Davis, and you've got to say, hey, Governor, you don't do this, you're out. You're out. We're going to hold you accountable. That's the only way you're going to get anything done. And as for the airlines, the FAA has got to step in and step in immediately, or we're going to have a mid-air crash, and you're going to have 600 people lying dead on the ground. And I'll predict that right here, because that thing is out of control nationwide. Government's got to pass legislation to get the airline industry under control.
St. Louis, Missouri, you're on.
Hi, my name is Rosalind, and I'm calling in to make a comment about, you know, I've been watching, well, I was watching C-SPAN this morning, and they were talking about, you know, the rap star Eminem, and how, you know, his views on gays and things like that. You know, I sit and, you know, I'm looking at Ashcroft, and he has, like, some of the same views, you know, but, you know, I mean, you know, he's against the gays, you know, he doesn't do much for blacks, you know, and you know, I'm 25 years old, and I've lived in Missouri all my life, and pretty much, you know, there's a lot of people here that aren't happy about that decision, and I think that George Bush, you know, if he was going to be for the will of the people, then, I mean, I would accept any Republican over Ashcroft. I mean, he's just known the way he is.
Thanks. Mr. O'Reilly, there's a front page piece in the Washington Post that we've been talking about. It's about this rapper Eminem.
Yeah, we did it last night on The Factor.
Yeah, and the headline is Grammys Discordant Note, and they go into some detail, print the lyrics, talk about people being upset, and I just wanted you to know that so you knew why she was...
Yeah, I know what she's talking about. You know, look, you know, I'm not going to defend Senator Ashcroft. I mean, you like him, you don't like him. His record speaks for itself. Whether he gets confirmed, he gets confirmed. I'm not worried about this man. I'm not worried about him enforcing the law. You know, if you don't like his views, then let your congressman know. That's all you can do. But this Eminem guy, the real interesting part about this story is Dr. Laura, okay? Now, here you have Dr. Laura in trouble with the gay community, pressure put upon her, her television show destroyed because she doesn't like the homosexual lifestyle. And she bases that on biblical references. That's why she bases her opinion on. Okay, fine. And you don't like that? I understand. I understand the homosexuality, the homosexual community being upset. Then you got this guy Eminem, who calls homosexuals the worst possible names, who comes out here and abuses them. The music industry, which a lot of gays in the music industry embraces this guy. There is some protest against him, but not nearly what there was against Dr. Laura. The hypocrisy is staggering.
What about this story this morning by John Maynard in the Washington Post? MTV blackout to target issue of hate crimes. They are going to, for 18 hours on Wednesday, starting at 10 o'clock next week, go to a black screen, fade in and out of the first names of hundreds of hate crimes victims, along with details surrounding the crimes as compiled from news sources and advocacy groups. And we were talking about it earlier. These are the same. This is the same network that runs all the rappers' music about the hate stuff.
Right. Look, I'll tell you what. I applaud MTV for what they're doing. I'm not gonna criticize MTV for doing the hate crime thing. I'm for hate crime legislation. I don't think that we should have in this country people being persecuted for their lifestyle or their color or their religion. And sometimes, whether people are going to admit it or not, local authorities are just simply not going to respond to those crimes the way they should. It's the fact of life. So we need the federal government to have power in certain situations to come in and right some wrongs.
Do you think any of these music videos spike this business of hate crimes?
No, I don't. I've never really bought that. I think that hate stuff comes from the parents. It gets ingrained very early, and that it can be inflamed by idiots like Eminem. But I don't think that's the genesis of the problem. We live in a free society. We can't be censoring everything we don't like. But I do believe that the authorities of this country have a responsibility to protect all the citizens.
Let's go to Glen Burnie, Maryland, on the Republican line for Bill O'Reilly. Good morning.
Oh, hi, Brian.
Hi.
And hi, Bill. I can't believe my two favorite media people are on at the same time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
And talking to each other. Must be my lucky day. Anyway, just a question to throw at you. I can't understand this hate crimes thing. I simply, someone explain for me what is the difference between hate crime and crime.
All right, look, I get this all the time, and I'm going to make it really easy. This weekend, I want you to go out and rent Mississippi Burning, okay, which is a quasi movie with Gene Hackman. Excellent film, not really based on fact. You know, it's dramatized, but it will get the point across that certain crimes committed in this country are not pursued aggressively enough by the local authorities. That is a fact. And when that happens, if it's targeted against a group or a person because of color, because of religion, because of sexual orientation, whatever it may be, the feds have to have the power to go in and right the wrong. It's as simple as that. Watch that movie. You'll know what I'm talking about after it. I think that's the best illustration.
Glen Burnie, your response?
That after, we go through this, we pass these laws, that these local authorities, they're going to think any differently? They're
not going to think any differently, but it just gives people recourse to right wrongs. And I don't see any downside to this legislation. People say, oh, you're favoring one group over another. Okay, maybe that's true. So what? If we have to have a backup, a safety net to make sure justice is done, and believe me, local authorities and state authorities are going to do the right thing 90% of the time. They're going to do it 90% of the time. They're going to do the right thing. But it's the 10% that we've got to have a safety net for.
In your book, you list a lot of things that you like and don't like, including likes. You name Sam Donaldson. You say he's a risk taker in an industry dominated by phonies and charlatans and yes persons.
You bet. You know, I worked at ABC, and, you know, look, I don't have any animosity toward my peers, even if I don't respect their work. I think there's far too much conformity in television news. You got imitators all over the place, people playing it safe. Donaldson never was that. He was like Mike Wallace, a unique guy, went out there, you like him or not, he did his job, he was obnoxious, I'm sorry, but journalists, that's part of the job description.
You say...
You know, so I respect that.
You say that Charlie Rangel is someone you always enjoy sparring with, and you find him he's always worth listening to.
Yeah, Rangel's a stand-up guy. I don't agree with him. I think he's way too involved in the color deal, which I want African Americans to think about. But Rangel will come in, unlike Jesse Jackson and some others, and answer the questions and mix it up. I respect that. I don't agree with Charles Rangel on most things, but I respect him.
Mike Wallace, the best interview in television. Paul Harvey, the best radio man ever.
You bet. And both of these guys are octogenarians now. Isn't it amazing or what? I mean, Mike Wallace, 82 years old, still right on it. Paul Harvey's 82, I think,